Hey everybody. I'm in the car right now. I've been out and about and I've got some time here. I'm waiting for something and I've been thinking about this. Uh, I call this Jezebels, Avoidance, and Icy Eyes. And I'm not a teacher. I'm not trying to influence anybody. I'm just me. I'm just telling you my stories and how I was able to get myself together in a better way. I'm not there yet. I still am working on my shadow. And so, but what this is, of course, we know what Jezebels are. They're the women with the nail jobs and the boob jobs and just trying to get the men involved in their lives. Then the avoidants are men who pretty much they're afraid to commit, and then the icy eyes, which I really want to focus on these icy eyes because I used to have icy eyes. And I just wanted to encourage that there really is a way back from these things. You can get healed. I mean, Jezebels can be healed, avoidance, icy-eyed people. But, you know, the icy eyes are actually good women who are everything that a man would want. And yet the men put everything on these women. They had to take care of everything. And so when it all ended, the bitterness was in their eyes. There was icy eyes. So, and what causes these things? I mean, Jezebels, I honestly think that Jezebels, they did not get attention. They did not get, and they're trying to now, you know, there's, in a lot of ways, you cannot get guys. Just put it plainly. So they use everything, you know, that they think is going to influence them, and they are ruthless, of course. They want to take and set themselves up for safety, you know. And so I just think that section of women didn't, in their past, they didn't get something that they needed. Now, I may be wrong on that, but I'm sort of generalizing really badly here. But then the avoidance, the guys who are avoidants, they probably were in relationships with Jezebels and got taken to the cleaners. And so now they just don't really, they're standing back just looking and not really committing to anybody. And they're scared. So, and I already told you about the icy eyes, the bitter women. And so I wanted to tell you a story that I observed. This isn't about me, but it's about a couple that I observed. I was sitting in the pew in church waiting for Mass to start. And here comes this couple in the side door. And this guy had a suit on. He was coming in there, you know, he was really kind of cocky like. 20 feet behind him was his wife, and she had a backpack on her, about, you know, a humongous backpack, covered her whole back. She was carrying a child. She had other stuff in her hands, toys and everything for the kid. And, you know, she was his pack mule, really. He should have been back there with the backpack on him and the child and everything else, and let her walk in front of him as his queen. But that wasn't going on there. And if that woman doesn't end up with icy eyes, I would imagine, you know, just from the way it looked, that woman was doing everything. And if she doesn't end up with icy eyes, I would eat my hat. because that's what happens to good women. You know, if you put everything on a woman, eventually she's going to give out. And I know in my story, I ended up with icy eyes because I had a horrible marriage. My husband committed suicide. I had to do everything. At one point, I was even supporting us financially. And it was a nightmare. I mean, it was a vacation in hell, really. And so that ended, and I do a bit of writing, and I wrote an article about ghost ships. And so I got this email from this guy, and I just always thought it was because of the article. But anyway, he was telling me how he was developing these underwater camera vehicles, and he eventually was wanting to go search for the giant squid. So, I mean, that tweaked my interest. That was right up my alley. So he was in England, and I just eventually got involved with him, and I was the co-founder of this company in England that was for the development and manufacture of these underwater camera vehicles. They were shaped like dolphins and mantas, and these were shaped in such a way that they would hydrodynamically fly through the water. You know, you got aerodynamically and you got hydrodynamically. And so I was even at one point engaged to him. And so what had happened was that prior to this, I had had a visitation of a spirit in my house that brought me this ball, and it was shimmering with aquamarine colors, like blue, green, you know, going back and forth between those colors. And I was charged with putting this ball on the water. It was like this was a song. I was charged with putting the song upon the water. So probably in this whole world, the only guy that could get me on that water was this guy from England. And so I have to confess that I don't fear a lot of things, but I sure fear sharks. I mean, I'd die if I was in the water and a shark would come up. I mean, the shark would just have an automatic corpse. He wouldn't have to kill me. He'd just start munching. But anyway, at one point we were off the coast of England, and we were running around this little boat pulling these underwater camera vehicles behind us, because they had no motorized way of moving on their own. You towed them behind a boat. And so eventually I did get into the sea. He was with me, he got me into the sea, and I put that song out on the water, and I always go to Revelation 10. I mean, that angel in that Revelation 10 had 1 foot on the land, 1 foot on the sea, and cried. Now, that's a song. You know, that's a sound. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but I got it out there, and when we were headed back into shore, he says to me, "Oh, I just saw a big fish swim past your legs." I about tore up that beach getting out of here. And you know, the day I put that song on the water, it was over. I mean, it's just like the curtain went down on that relationship, and the curtain went down on me being involved with this company. I had considered that was going to be lucrative for my, you know, to support me. And I came back about a day or two after that song got put on the water, and it was over. You know, I just ate, slept, and breathed getting that company going, and I lost everything. So that was another trip through hell. But here's the thing. This guy pointed out that I had icy eyes, and I had icy eyes left over from my marriage. And so that there was a twofold thing. I was able to do what God, get healed of this ICI thing, and also to fulfill getting that song on the water. But here's the thing, I listened to music in the car, and Chris Stapleton came on with a song called As Bad As I Used to Be. And I thought, for Pete's sake, you want to be like you used to be? You know, we gotta grow, we gotta deal with our shadows, and we gotta be different people as we go along. You know, we're relating actually to two worlds in our life. We've got the physical world here, and then we've got an unseen spiritual world. And here's the thing, that the physical world is, it's corruptible. It will change. It will, be destroyed. It will not remain the same, no matter what is happening. But those two worlds actually interface. I mean, I was thinking about this, how strange it is that everything that has happened to me in that physical world is relating to the unseen. I mean, it's uncanny. I mean, you get these synchronicities, and it's just something to contemplate. But I don't know. That's the only thing I really wanted to point out for the Divine Feminines, because I think there are so many good women who have icy eyes. They ended up with it because of the way their people, I mean, it wouldn't even have to be a man treated you terrible. Any kind of abuse is going to, can eventually end up with that person having icy eyes. And I really want to see, gosh, these Jezebels, avoidants, and icy-eyed people. My heart just aches that all three of those would just come back into alignment with God, get healed up. I mean, why, we don't even see so many people getting together, divine counterparts. Why is it being so hard? Why is it being so hard? And so, I don't know, I just guess I'm rambling around here. But I'm just saying, there is hope. There is always hope. As long as you got breath in your body, you can get with God and you can change. You don't have to be a Jezebel. You don't have to be an avoidant. And you don't have to have icy eyes. That was horrible, having icy eyes, just looking through the eyes of bitterness about what your life happened. So anyway, I guess that's what I wanted to say. I just, I'm just talking. I'm just observing. I'm a contemplative. I sit around and think of this stuff. So I'm just trying to give off, maybe make room for more space within, as my brain, my gray cells keep moving around in there, thinking about things. So I hope that you have a wonderful day. I just, I just really want everybody to be able to have unconditional love and just enjoy their life. Enjoy this world that changes all the time, and flow with it. Bring it in from the other side, the unseen, and interact with that unseen part, because you've got a purpose. Here, this is the whole thing in a nutshell, is that you're here for a purpose. And that's what I want to do. I just want to realize everything. I got more shadow work to do. I just realized some more stuff that I got to get fixed. So that's it. And I'm still here waiting. So that's what I wanted to say. You have a good night, day, or whenever.